I guess I have. I didn't know that there was. I didn't know that was happening, to be honest. So, I don't wear. I don't really wear shorts in public, ever.
Even in the summer when it's 106 degrees as it is today?
I don't, and I can tell you some pretty funny stories about this tour that they used to have in Australia. Right? It's called the Big Day Out, and it's bands from all over the world going to Australia during their summer, which is our winter. And it's a traveling tour, so all the bands are together in hotels and everything. And you can go, like on the Sydney day, you can go down to the beach and just see all these dudes walking down the beach, full black shirt, full black pants, walking down the beach. Like we don't mess around.
That's when you're dedicated.
You don't want to see my legs. That's it.
Yeah.
You have to keep, it's all mystery, Beto.
Now that you said that, I do. I never had wanted to see them before, but now that I can't, I do.
Yeah, that's the way it is, and that's how it's going to be.
Yeah. How are you?
We're okay. Yeah, we're okay. How about you?
We're okay. This has been, just I don't know how to put it into words. What's happening in the country that has revealed what has always been happening in the country. And, trying to explain it to myself, much less my kids, who, Jim, they're 13 and 11 and 9 years old. We've been watching a lot of videos together as a family to try to understand this stuff. So I don't know if you saw the impromptu speech that Killer Mike gave in Atlanta.
I haven't seen it, but I read it.
So good. It's interesting that guy holds no elected office and yet demonstrated more leadership than most who do, including the guy in the highest office in the land. And I wanted my kids to see that. We watched Trevor Noah had this really great monologue the other night that we saw posted, and we watched it again as a family, where he's talking about we all basically are parties to this contract that governs how we act in society. And some of the laws and rules are written and some aren't. And we all basically abide by it as long as the terms of the contract are upheld and everyone is treated equally within that contract. And when people are not, then what is their obligation to continue to abide by the law and to do things as we would typically assume that people will do in a modern society, and saying that in a way to explain so much what we're seeing in the protests and to some degree some of the rioting that has taken place. But so I'm constantly now looking to others to try to understand better what is happening and what has been happening. But it's been tough, right? Very tough time for a lot of people right now.
Yeah. And I think we're in the same boat. We're white American males. And I put this on Instagram the other day, like, as mad and upset and furious as I am, I need leadership from their community, from other communities. I can't understand. Like, I can't understand what it is to be racist. I can't. It's not in my DNA. I don't understand how you have that feeling. At the same time, I don't know what I can do. Right? So I loved what Killer Mike said. I love what President Obama said. I love talking about my brother's keeper. I love saying, if we can get to locally making a difference, which we've had this conversation a lot. I don't care that much about the presidential race as much as I really care about our local and state races, because we live in a state that's rough when it comes to being forward thinking, right? Or has been. We have a history of that. So I've been looking for leadership from other people. So following Sean King, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Following sort of his thing, signing up for their legal fund, just donating money where I can to the things that I can, switching our show next week to donate money to causes as well, and just fucking listening, like trying to just listen. Because it's so easy to flip this. It's so easy to flip the violent factor into like, this doesn't make any, like, fuck, this doesn't matter anymore. This is stupid. You're ruining your own communities. You're ruining our cities. You're like, who cares? Fuck, it doesn't matter. Right? It's so easy to flip that conversation. So I just want to try and see through some of that stuff and say, okay, what can I do with my talents or resources to make a better place for everyone? Like, what can we do? And then stop and fucking listen is the other part of it. Just hear what's being said.
Yeah, I really loved what President Obama had to say about the importance of protesting and grieving and allowing ourselves to feel everything that we're feeling right now, but also then taking action and committing to vote, registering to vote, helping others register to vote, and helping them to make commitments to vote, getting behind candidates who are going to change this, because ultimately, if we want to remain a democracy and a representative form of government, the only way this stuff changes is to elect new people, different people, better people to represent our interests. And you mentioned Texas. I think there is a golden opportunity in Texas and even at the local level. And that's one of the things that President Obama stressed. The White House is super important and we got to be focused on that. And we all are. But when you're talking about how decisions are made in terms of where resources are spent, what part of town, what side of the tracks is going to have access to the resources and educational opportunities. When you're talking about equity, that starts at the school board and the city council and the county commissioners court. When you're talking about voting rights and access to the ballot box in the most racially gerrymandered state in the union, the most voter suppressed state in America, Texas, that's electing a new state legislature, which we can do in 2020. And so, it's hard not to sound like an ABC after school special. Like, come on, kids, really important to vote. If you don't vote, your voice isn't heard. But if we don't all vote in massive numbers and change the power dynamic in this country, we will get the same shit. And I think that is part of what has produced so much anger and so much frustration. George Floyd's death was a revelation for many, especially white men, that this stuff has not changed, and it has stayed the same, or in some cases gotten worse. And for me, seeing that cop with his knee on George Floyd's neck, looking at the cell phone camera that he knows is transmitting what is happening, and he's like, "Fuck yeah, I can do this because I'm white and he's black. Go ahead and film this. That's absolutely fine. I can do this. This is America." So we've got to change, the leadership in Minneapolis and in the state, in Minnesota. You got to do that in Texas and throughout the country. And the only way to do it under our form of government is to vote. So we've got our work cut out for us. But it also, for me, is the antidote to despair, because I'm with you, Jim. Some moments I'm like, fuck it. I don't think this is ever going to work. And I don't know if there's anything that I can do. But if you give into that despair, then we are absolutely hopeless. And if instead you find something you can do, then you have agency. You're no longer impotent. You're no longer a bystander watching this happen. You are going to be party to the change that is going to happen. So that's the way I've been able to get out and into something where I think we're going to be able to make a big difference. And for us, Empowered by People, that's helping to register hundreds of thousands of likely Democrats to vote in time for this November's election. Yeah.
Shitty week though.
It really is. It really is. I could not help noticing the print behind you. Is that a Dave Ford special?
Yeah, it's El Paso to San Francisco.
That's great.
And it's one of the, you can't really see it, but so he rarely uses color in his prints. And so we have one that has at the very top of it, it had one red pencil. And that's, I think, sort of one reason I was drawn to it. But yeah, I love this. So I've been trying to change different places in my house when I do this stuff. So this is the current location.
Can I show you something, Jim, that I just got for our house? Hold on one second.
What if he didn't come back? What if that was just his excuse to leave? He's like, this shit's boring.
I'm pulling this off the turntable. This is my new Sparta LP on white vinyl, because this, I don't know that I have any white vinyl LPs to begin with. I was never much of a record collector, although I have a lot of records, but I didn't collect for vinyl color. But white vinyl is what they had in stock, and just got it in the mail in the last 2 weeks, and I've been listening to it. It's amazing, and I love listening to it on vinyl and in the living room and actively listening to it instead of while I'm driving or doing work or doing something else. Congratulations. It's really good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for buying our record.
Yeah.
I actually just, and check this out, I just got my copies of the record yesterday.
Because they had to come from Canada, right?
Yeah, and for some reason they just, like, all the pre-orders went out and then the orders went out, and then I was, on a conference call with the label, and I was like, it'd be cool if we had a copy of it. And they're like, oh, that'd be, So now I'm just trying to send it to everybody that played on the record now. So that's my next task. But yeah, I'm stoked. Thanks for buying it. It's been a super great experience, and the reaction's been crazy. We're almost at 1 million streams, which is unreal.
Awesome.
To think that
congratulations.
Somebody out there is just playing it over and over again. I think 7 people listening to it 200 times.
So explain to me this. Some of our friends, Carlos Gainar and Chris Cummings and Michelle and Marina and others have been circulating a flyer with your tour dates that are coming up, and we're all going to get tickets to one of the shows. Tell me how touring works, and how the fuck are you playing shows in Japan and Europe and North America, but you're going to be in El Paso?
Yeah, so it's a company called Side Door, and everyone's trying to figure out how to make this work. And this is the best we can do. And so they were like, well, we can space them out. You can do one, and we'll record it, and then we'll broadcast it at a certain time, and that makes sense for Europe. And then we can. And I was like, can I just play live at that hour? So I'm gonna play. I think I play at noon here, which is 8 p.m. European time, and then I play at 8 p.m. here, which is 10 p.m. Eastern. And then I play at 11 p.m. and that's like 3 p.m. the next day in Australia.
On the same day here, or this is different days?
No, same day. So I'm going to
play
3 shows in one day. It's called the 11-hour World Tour, and we're just going to. I'm just going to sit there and play basically 45 minutes. It's all Sparta songs. It's me and acoustic, so it'll be somewhat different. But I didn't want it to be pre-recorded. With the sort of, hello Europe, and then it goes to the show. Like, I want to think about where I'm at, even if I'm not there. Because if you think about it, a lot of the times here on stage, we do really actually write what city we're in below us, because it gets confusing, and you don't always know where you are. And it does seem like the same place all the time. And so I want to go and think about where I'm at. Even if I'm not physically there, I'm going to be there spiritually, and sort of just have some sort of a connection that's not pre-recorded. Because I'm in my house, and everybody's in their house, and even if it's just on a computer, I just wanted it to be real. So,
is that Bobby Fuller over your right shoulder, or who is that?
No, it's Jack Kennedy.
Is it? There you go. It just was so far away. It could have been Bobby Fuller.
That'd be fucking awesome, though. I would love it. If anyone out there has a Bobby Fuller
statue,
send it.